Right, so as of Monday night, we're all effectively on lockdown. The only reason that we should be leaving our homes are to indulge ourselves in one session of exercise a day, to travel to and from our place of work when we can't work from home, and of course to get groceries because we all need to eat. Now the weather is improving, and if you need to go to work, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be using your motorbike if that's what you want to do. A motorcycle is, after all, a legitimate economical mode of transport, ideal in my opinion as a way of getting to work and back. And as a lot of people have pointed out to me, a motorcycle does make sense when it comes to social distancing. Riding solely in the pursuit of pleasure for now is a no-no. We shouldn't be doing it. But as I realised this morning, just because you don't have to go to work, it doesn't mean you can't use your bike. As long as you go about it in a sensible way and you have a legitimate reason for travelling. I'll try to explain. I listened to Boris on the news last night, and he told us that we should be taking advantage of food delivery services. To be honest, it's not something I've done before ordering my shopping online. I like to go in and select the goods myself, then I know what I'm getting. And this morning I thought I'll do my civic duty, I'll do what the government wants us to do. And I went onto the Asda online shopping site to order my groceries online. First big shock was that there was no deliveries until Friday. Second big shock was that there was hardly anything for sale on the site. Virtually no fresh meat except for meats that I don't normally buy, but I ordered those anyway as a substitute. There was some toilet rolls, which I ordered. I basically spent a frustrating half hour ordering things that I wouldn't normally buy, but that's all that was available. And then when I got to the checkout, I had an even bigger shock. Because half of the stuff that I'd ordered that it told me was in stock was now showing out of stock. The toilet roll had gone, the fresh milk had gone, most of the meat products that I'd ordered had gone, and basically all that was left in my basket was some mouthwash and a loaf of bread. Now, it's all very well Boris telling us to do this, but I don't think he does his own shopping. I think as far as he's concerned, the shopping fairy delivers it while he's in bed at night. And he doesn't realise what people like us are up against when it comes to getting our shopping, and it's been like this for about 3 weeks. Now, I wasn't going to be put off, so I went onto the Sainsbury's online shopping site only to find that because it's busy, they're no longer allowing new registrations for people to have shopping delivered at home. Something else that Boris obviously isn't aware of. Now, this all wasted a good hour of my time this morning, and it was obvious that for the moment this idea that the government has had isn't going to work. We have pretty much run out of food. We've raided all the remnants from the freezer, and so I made the decision this morning that it was time to go out and get some shopping in. Now, with my experience over the last few weeks, doing a weekly shop is pretty much impossible. We've been shopping more or less day by day, because it's not really a matter of choosing what you want for your tea, it's a matter of just trying to find something for your tea. And ordinarily I would probably take the car, but then I thought, a day's shopping should easily fit into a backpack. I'm on my own, there's no point taking the car really, I may as well take one of the bikes. And so I dragged the Interceptor out of the garage. Now, the whole point of this lockdown, for want of a better word, because I know the government aren't referring to it as that, is to slow down the spread of this virus by controlling how people behave in public. To that end, a lot of retail stores have been ordered to close, non-essential retail stores. All of the types of industry and commerce are still running. Online stores can still operate. People that can't do the jobs from home are still able to go to work. It's only non-essential high street retail stores that have got to close. So shops that sell food, groceries are still open. That sell medicines and medical supplies are still open. Garages are still allowed to open, but not vehicle showrooms. And even things like pet shops and shops that sell cycles are allowed to open. But the main takeaway is that you should not be out and about on your bike unless you're either going to work or you have to go on a critical journey to pick up groceries or medical supplies. Now, as I said, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't use your bike if you're having to go on one of these critical errands. But a bit of common sense is required. We don't want to be placing any more stress on the National Health Service than it already has. So if weather conditions happen to be a bit dicey on the day that you're doing your shopping, don't take the bike, use the car. We should all ride carefully. It's something that I've always advocated, but I think it's more important now than ever to keep your riding behaviour under control. Enjoy the fact that you are able to use your bike for a legitimate reason, but obviously, as we all know, you are more vulnerable on a bike than you are in a car. Keep your speed down, and more so than ever before, do not take any unnecessary risks. And before you take your bike out, make sure that it's roadworthy, that the tyre pressures are correct, and that you have plenty of fuel for the journey. At the end of the day, you do not want to be in a position where you're having to call other people out because you've broken down or you run out of fuel, and you certainly don't want to be that person that requires an ambulance that's going to put stress on the emergency services that are already overstretched as it is. Use a bit of common sense. If we all take this approach, we can use our bikes legitimately without breaking any laws or rules and without putting anyone else in danger or putting the national health system under any more stress. Now, as for using a motorcycle for any other reason, okay, we've got dispatch riders, people that provide a valuable service. And as much as I do sort of derive something of an income from this channel, I don't consider that running a YouTube channel is really important enough to justify riding a bike just for the sake of it. As I've said, the plan this year, for as long as we have this emergency going, is to do as much garage work or other alternative work as I can, but I will be sure to film every ride that I can to the shops, which will also give me the opportunity to test things out as I review them. Now, as for this social distancing thing in the shops, I did actually continue to allow the camera to run while I was in the shop. Unfortunately, I'd left an ND32 filter on the lens, so everything was pitch black and I can't use it. If you wear a bandana around your face like I do when I'm riding, I would advise that you leave that on while you're in the shop. I know for decades we've had this thing whereby in shops you're supposed to take your helmet off and reveal your face in shops. I think that can, or at least needs to be, relaxed for the moment. It will give you some degree of protection. Now, I'm sure most of you will have experienced this yourselves, this social distancing thing, trying to keep 2 meters away from other people. It's difficult because a lot of people are just in their own world, and I'm including supermarket staff, shop staff in this. And I think it's something Asda does need to get a grip of. I saw members of staff shouting at people to keep the distance from each other, yet while I was standing in a queue to use the tills, 2 members of staff literally pushed by me. Pretty much actual physical contact. And it's pretty much the same with other people. Everyone's in their own little world. And in a lot of respects, we as bikers already have the skills to deal with that because we're used to having to watch what everyone else is doing and react to them because we know they're not going to see us. Keep your wits about you and take avoiding action before you need to. It is worth just stopping in your tracks every now and again just to see what other people are going to do, because people are not, in my mind, taking this seriously enough. They're just playing at it. It is early days though. I know it's new to everybody. Hopefully everyone will get the grip of it eventually. Now, surprisingly, the good news is a lot of the stuff that was out of stock on the online site was actually just sitting there on the shelves, so I managed to get just about everything I needed. Enough food for myself and my partner for 2 full days, which just fitted into my backpack. However, the very first time in a supermarket in 3 weeks they actually had toilet rolls on the shelves. Unfortunately, because I only had a backpack, I couldn't get any. Now, one final thing, filling up with fuel. Fuel filler nozzles and automatic keypads for self-service pumps have been identified as being a source of cross-infection. If you can, take some rubber gloves with you. I took some with me and then discovered that they were actually a size small and I couldn't even get my hands in them, they just split. Most filling stations do still supply disposable plastic gloves, although understandably, just like a lot of other things, they do seem to be in short supply. If they do have them, use them before touching any of the refilling equipment. Now, I was on my last bar on the Interceptor, so I had to fill up while I was at Asda. And although they did have dispensers for plastic gloves, there were none left. Did have some paper towels though. I just used one of them both to operate the keypad and to hold the filling nozzle with. It's perhaps not ideal, but it is a barrier between your skin and whatever you're touching, so it's better than nothing. These filler nozzles are handled by literally hundreds of people a day. Don't use your bike gloves as a barrier unless you really have to. At the end of the day, if they are contaminated, it's going to be quite difficult to decontaminate them, and there's something that you're going to have to use most days. Just do your absolute best to protect yourself, and try not to touch your face until you've got home and thoroughly washed your hands. And make sure that you do wash your hands thoroughly the moment you get home. It's a steep learning curve for all of us, but it's a learning curve that we must all climb as rapidly as possible. Doesn't help that a lot of the materials we do need to protect ourselves simply aren't available. That for me is one of the most frustrating parts. I wandered up and down the cleaning aisle in Asda for about 10 minutes, you know, looking for wipes and gloves and stuff like that, and there was just nothing there. Right, so what I'm trying to say is that every cloud does have a silver lining. We've not lost biking completely this year, certainly not yet anyway. But for now, it is going to have to be a more utilitarian style of biking than a recreational type of biking. And don't forget, when you do need to go to the shops, within reason, you can take the scenic route there and back. You don't have to take the most direct route. As long as it doesn't add any more than 2 or 3 miles to your journey, I would say for mental health reasons, it's probably justified. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video and helping to support my channel. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you have, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. If you are subscribed, hit the notification bell and make sure that all your notifications are enabled on your account. That way you'll be informed as soon as I upload a new video. I will be back on Friday, so until then, please ride safely and use some common sense. These new rules are not just for our safety, they're for the safety of everyone else, young and old. Please don't abuse the little bit of bike freedom that we have left. I'll see you soon.